Good afternoon, my Facebook friends. Happy Monday to you. So glad you could join me today on another episode of Planning Your Destination Wedding. So today my topic today is how to choose the right destination or resort for your destination wedding. So to me, this is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make in planning your destination wedding. Once you've decided that you want to have a destination wedding, then the next step would be deciding where you're going to have your destination wedding, what location, destination, if you're looking for a Caribbean wedding, and also what resort you're going to have your wedding. How do you pick these items? So, as I said, the biggest decision always is saying you want to have a destination wedding, but how do you go about planning for one? So the first thing, before I go on, let me introduce myself. I'm Sandra Morris, and I am the admin for I Do in the Caribbean Facebook group. And I actually had my destination wedding about 6 years ago now in the beautiful island of Jamaica, and I had 100 guests attend my wedding. So that's where I actually got the bug for planning and helping couples plan their destination wedding. So what I try to do within this group is just to give you information that can assist you somehow in helping you, relieve some of your stress so you can better plan your destination wedding. So I think last week or the week before I talked about what to think about when you start planning your destination wedding. And the biggest thing I always say, if you're planning a wedding, is the budget, because the budget is going to determine everything. It's going to determine your destination. It's going to determine what resort you choose, because that resort will have a wedding package. And depending on the resort, the wedding package is definitely going to be a big part of the cost for your wedding, getting to your destination. So today we're just going to talk about how do you actually pick a destination if you don't know where you want to have your wedding, and what type of resort might work best for a destination wedding. So for me, when I picked my destination, I picked Jamaica because I was born in Jamaica. I still had family there, so it was an easy choice for me. And I'm in New York, so it was an easy commute from New York to Jamaica. So I actually have guests that came from London. So one thing I can say, it does take time to plan and to give your guests notice if you want them to attend your wedding. So definitely you need to plan 6 months plus out in advance if you're having a destination wedding, because you're inviting guests to your wedding that have to pay transportation to get to your wedding. They have to book a room accommodation, they have to book flights, and those are costs that's above just going to a wedding. So you definitely want to give your guests enough time to, so they can make a decision if they can attend your wedding or not. But as I said, budget is the biggest thing. If you have unlimited budget, you can just about get married anywhere. But if you have a set budget, how do you best utilize that budget to get exactly what you're looking for when you're planning your wedding? So for me, as I said, for my destination wedding, I had it in Jamaica. It was an easy choice. The hard choice was finding the right hotel for what I was looking for, because for every girl out there, you have some kind of vision in your head as what you want your fairy tale wedding to look like. Mine was fairy tale, but it was 25 years later, because that was a vow renewal. I did my 25th wedding anniversary vow renewal because I eloped 25 years ago. And then after having kids, we decided it was time that we actually just made it official and invited all our friends and family. So a destination is key. For me, I specialize in the Caribbean and Mexico. So those to me are ideal location or destination to have a wedding, because it's easy to get to, especially when most of my audience here is from the US. So you always want to think about what destination am I going to choose, and how easy it is for me and my guests to get to that destination. So one of the most popular destinations right now is Mexico, because right now Mexico doesn't require any COVID test to go there. Jamaica is just a country that kind of has everything you're looking for if you're looking for exciting, something different to do. Jamaica has the vibe, it has the music, it has the food, it just have a great environment. So to me, it's almost like an ideal location. No matter how many times I've been to Jamaica, it seems like I always find something new or exciting that I think is different. So Mexico, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, people probably don't think about it. It's a lot of resorts in Dominican Republic that are all inclusive, and it's easy to get to. So to me, that's a great place to think of having your destination wedding. Also, top on the list for me is St. Lucia. St. Lucia reminds me of Jamaica. It's just not the same, I would say, vibe. Like Jamaica is more a lot of reggae music and stuff. But St. Lucia has the same vibe. If you're looking for a pristine location, very nice resorts there, very nice beach. The food is good. The accommodations, they have great accommodations. If you're looking for overwater villas, you can find them in St. Lucia. You can also find them in Jamaica. If you want to get married on an overwater chapel, there's ones to choose from in Jamaica, and there's also over the water chapels in St. Lucia. They have one of the best honeymoon destination in the world, really, is St. Lucia, and one of their properties is known for one of the best honeymoon destinations. So it's a really nice destination. I mean, there's other choices you can think of to have your wedding. Really, can have your wedding anywhere in the Caribbean. There's Turks and Caicos, there's St. Martin, there's Bahamas, but with all these locations comes the logistic, how easy it is for you and your guests to get to the location. Also, the destination you're choosing. What is the weather like? You don't want to try to have your wedding during hurricane season, because that's just going to defeat the purpose of having this outdoor wedding. So you definitely have to look when you're picking a destination. Is it someplace you've always dreamed about, that this is the place I want to have it, whether it's Jamaica, Mexico, wherever, and then how easy it is for me to get there, because I have two destination wedding. One is in Mexico this year in August, and one is in Jamaica. And the flights to go to Jamaica during that time is over $800. So it's something really, maybe because of COVID, it's higher, but it's something to think about when you're planning ahead. Is what is it going to cost my guests to attend? If the airfare is $800 or $600, and the rooms are going to be like $1,200 for 3 nights, that's almost $1,000, $3,000. Can I expect my guests to pay that amount of money to attend my wedding? So picking a destination that's easy to get to, the flights are a little bit more reasonable. If you're looking for resorts, there's multiple resorts to choose from. So I always try to pick a destination that there's different price point depending on what your budget is. You want to make sure that you have choices that you can pick. Either can go up real high to a high, luxury hotel, or you can stay someplace in the middle. So you always want to have choices. So pick a location or a destination that have a lot of resorts that, you can choose from, especially when you're thinking about how many guests you're going to bring and how affordable it's going to be for them to attend your wedding. So, apart from that, then you're going to think about what kind of wedding are you going to have? Are you going to have a legal ceremony, or are you going to have a symbolic ceremony? Because picking a destination, each destination is going to be a little bit different in what their requirements are for having a wedding there, whether it's symbolic, meaning that you're already married and just doing a vow exchange in front of your friends, or it's a legal wedding, a civil wedding, you're going to have. So there's a lot of paperwork involved in making sure you have your birth certificate. All those things are sent ahead to the wedding department so they can prepare the documentation. For example, if you get married in Mexico and it's a legal wedding, it requires blood tests, and there's a lot more things you have to do to get a legal wedding there. So before you decide on a location, I would say always think of what the requirements for getting married in that location is, to make sure you can meet it and it's not going to be too onerous for you to try to get all the documents required to have a wedding there. I always advise my client, if you're going to get married, if you're doing a destination wedding and you're getting married for the first time, get married legal in the US first, and then just do a symbolic. Nobody really has to know that you're already married. It's just takes the stress off to try to do a legal wedding there, because obviously it costs a little bit more to have a legal wedding. You have to pay for the judge. You have to pay, in Mexico, you have to pay for witnesses. You have to pay for the documents and all that stuff. So it will cost you a little bit more in any location to have a legal wedding versus a symbolic wedding. But on that hand, if you're choosing a resort like Sandals, if you're having a symbolic wedding, it's almost like a vow renewal for them because you're already married, versus if you have a legal wedding there. And the reason why I'm saying that, because Sandals wedding packages are much better if you're having a legal wedding, because you get a lot more perks than if you're having a vow renewal. So that is something that, if you don't know, is something to think about, because you get more perks for a real wedding, a legal wedding at Sandals Resort than you do for a vow renewal. They treat them differently. So you have to, make, even though you got married a couple of days before you went on resort, they still will treat that as a vow renewal because you're already married. So, those are things you need to think about. As I said, how long does it the flight time to get to that destination? Is there a direct flight to get to the destination? Stuff to think about at that destination. Is that where you dream that you want your wedding to be? So in your head, you have a vision of what your wedding would look like. Will that destination fit your vision? So that's number one. So now you've picked a destination that you think might work for you. Now, can you find a resort that will be the one that you're going to have your wedding? So, when you're looking at resort, a lot of people have weddings and, they don't know if they want a private, they want to do it in a villa, they want to rent a venue to have your wedding. So that's something you really need to think about after you pick a destination. Like, what type of wedding are you going to have? Are you going to be inviting 100 people, or it's going to be close family and friends? Because that can kind of, help you in deciding what type of venue to have. If I'm inviting 60 people, I'm doing it at the all-inclusive resort because it's just much more easier for me to set that up, and I get more perks if I'm having a big group going to a resort that's all-inclusive. It also makes it easy on the pocketbook for your guests, meaning that they're going to have a set price that they're going to pay for the resort, at the resort, to be there. So it's not going to cost them additionally for food, additionally for drinks, because it's an all-inclusive package. So I always recommend to my couples, if they're thinking about a resort, think about an all-inclusive resort, because it includes so much. You pay one price and everybody gets there, everybody just have fun. You have to worry about taking out your wallet and paying extra for stuff because everything is all included. Also, for the couple, you get a lot more perks if you bring a lot of people to a resort and you have an all-inclusive. It could mean that you get extra, free room nights depending on how many rooms are booked. You could get free events like a free cocktail hour or a welcome reception. There's a lot of perks you get when you bring a lot more people to a resort that you're having a destination wedding. The other thing to think about, if you're not bringing a lot of people, do you want like a villa? Rent a small villa and have your wedding there. There's so many things to think about. But as I said, you really have to, in your brain, think about what you want and then try to find that. Having a wedding, it's just going to involve a lot of research. So, that's why I tell all my couple, it's not, it sounds easy on paper, but it's not so easy, because you really have to do a lot of research to try to find that right destination and the right resort, and also pick the right time of, when do you want to have your wedding? What date do you want your wedding for? Because things get more expensive during the winter time and during the springtime, because that's when everybody wants to travel. So it's going to cost you more when it's around a holiday, and it's during the winter time. So when you think about picking a date or a destination, you want to think about those things in mind. It's always cheaper, like, say the 15th of August and beyond, fall, it's a little bit cheaper to have weddings during that time in the Caribbean than it is during other time. More so because I guess it's prone to hurricane season. You just don't know if you're going to have hurricanes, so the price tends to drop. But that is something to consider when you're having your wedding. What day of what month are you having it, and how is it going to impact people traveling? Like, I have people taking having their weddings during Memorial Day or during President's Day, because it's a long weekend and you want to capture that extra day, or 4th of July, but it's going to cost a little bit more because prices tend to be higher during any type of holiday, or in the winter time, it just tends to cost more. So that's something to think about when you're picking your date or your destination. Is the date you're looking at, and how much more does it cost to either change your wedding date to a time that it costs a little bit less, or when there's more stuff available. Because if you pick a date and everything is sold out, it's just going to cost more for your guests to go there. So those are the things that I think are important in picking a destination. And, when I say, the other thing I would say is, you look at the cost of the room also, because if you're going to Turks and Caicos, it's a great island, but it just costs more to go to Turks and Caicos, especially if you're looking for affordable rooms for your guests to stay in when they attend your wedding. So you definitely have to look at a location and the destination, and just look at it and look overall to see, is this going to be a good fit for you? So after you pick your destination and now you're looking for a resort, like what what resort am I going to pick? There's so many. If you look in Mexico, there's hundreds of resorts that you can pick to have your destination wedding. It's just which one is going to work best for you. The first thing I would say is, are you having an adult only wedding, or is it going to be kids friendly? Because then that's going to just eliminate a whole bunch of resort that will not fall into that category. Like say couples only in Jamaica. The name says it all. It's only couples that can actually go to that resort. So you want a family friendly resort, resorts like the Dreams, Now, Hyatt Ziva, Hilton. They're all like family friendly resort. And then when you're looking at a resort, you also want to look at the activities that are at the resort. Are there things for the kids to do? Do they have a water park? Do they have a lot of activities, entertainment? You want to look at the rooms. Are they modern? Do they have bathtubs in there? Do they have a balcony? So, is the food good? The vibes around the pool is going to be a fun, atmosphere. So, yes, you're getting married in Mexico and you need to find a resort. How do you figure out if this resort is going to be good for you? So you need to, in your mind, have a laundry list of things that you want to see in the resort. And when you're doing your research, you're looking at pictures, looking at reviews, you can kind of narrow down to see, is this resort going to work for you? Yeah. The other thing you need to think about is their wedding packages. Depending on how many people you're going to have at your wedding, each resort have a different wedding package, different cost of a wedding. Some of them will give you a private event, meaning you have a private ceremony, cocktail, and reception will be in a private area. You're not going to be at a restaurant. Some places give you semi-private, so there'll be a seat in a section in a restaurant where you're going to have a reception. And if it's semi-private, that means you're not going to really have a DJ. There won't be any dancing. So when you're picking the resort, you really have to look at the wedding packages, the inclusions, where your events will be, and if it's something that you want. So before you narrow and select a resort, definitely look at the wedding packages, look at the locations that's available to have your wedding, and make sure they fit what your visions are for the wedding. If you want a beach wedding, they must, this resort must have gorgeous beach, must have great locations for you to have your wedding there. And also, wherever you want to have your cocktail or your reception. If you're looking to have like a rooftop or you don't want to be in the sand, you have to look to make sure that there's alternative locations that is available that will fit what you're looking for. I have guests that they want to be in a ballroom because they want the air conditioning. They don't want their guests to be, crying about how hot it is. So she is going to get married on the beach, but her reception will be in a ballroom. And the reason she has it in the ballroom because she's thinking about her guests, and also she doesn't want to be baking in the sun. So there's a lot of things to think about when you're picking that ideal resort that will have your wedding. So think about the room, the way they look. Are they modern? Are they old? Do they need renovation? Because sometimes the rooms are just not kept up, and the type of how many restaurants are at the resort, what type of food do they have, do they have nightly entertainment? These are things, the customer service, because this is something that is going to make or break your wedding. So you want to make sure that you have an idea of what these things are before you narrow down your choices and you pick that resort. So as I said before, I always recommend an all-inclusive resort because I think an all-inclusive resort will have all the things you're looking for, and it just is better for your guests to come to your resort and not have to worry about paying extra when they get there. Also, you get a lot more perks if you're doing an all-inclusive resort for your wedding. The next thing I guess I would say is, if you're really thinking of having a destination wedding and you don't know where to begin, you could think about using the service of a travel advisor. I myself, I'm a destination wedding travel specialist. So my job is to help the couple narrow down that search of exactly what are they looking for. What is the ideal place you're looking for? You're looking at a destination, you're looking for a beach. They're looking to have their wedding on the beach. They want a nice pool area. There's a lot of stuff that you want to have when you are looking for a place to have your wedding. So based on if I'm helping a client, what, the first thing we do is we have a conversation as to what are they looking for? How many people are coming? Do they want a beach wedding? What's their budget? So in my mind, I can say, all right, this country or this island is going to work better, or this resort will work better because they have great wedding packages. So, my job is to, based on what they're telling me they want, is to select 2 or 3 destination or resort that would work for them, sit with them, go through that process of looking at the wedding package, looking at how much it's going to cost for the room for their guests, and seeing if this would be a good fit for them. Once they have decided on a resort, securing their wedding date and time, getting them a group contract, booking all their guest accommodation so I can relieve that stress off them, because it is very stressful when you have a lot of guests attending the wedding, and as the bride or the couple, you have to kind of coordinate all their booking, all their flight information, telling them where to go, all that sort of thing. So it's good to have a travel advisor who's going to help you coordinate all this, will take all that burden off you so you can more focus on your wedding day, and just making sure that everything is going to go great on your day. So, as I would say, planning your destination wedding is a fun thing. It's something great to do, but it's time consuming. And sometimes you just need a little help in getting you along further. So if, anyone within this group would like me to help them navigate all the various destinations and resorts out there to help them find that perfect location, please reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to sit with you, do a consultation to see if we both would be a good fit to work together. But, these are the things that I would say is things you need to look at if you're planning to have a destination wedding and you're stuck at, I don't know what destination would work for me, what resort would work for me. It just takes a lot of, I would say, a lot of research to find out what is it that you want, and finding that island or that destination that matches what you're looking for, and then doing research on the different resorts that's there. For me, as I said, certain resort I wouldn't recommend unless the client wants to go to, like, Puerto Rico and Hawaii. They don't have all inclusive, but people want to get married in Hawaii. So it's not a matter that you can't get married there because they don't have all inclusive. It's just going to mean it's going to cost a little bit more to get there. Obviously, it's a longer flight to get to Hawaii, and everybody, always dreamed of this Hawaiian wedding. So it's a great thing, but it doesn't necessarily work for everyone to attend your wedding because it's in a location that is either far to get to or it's just an expensive place to go. So as I said before, if you need any help, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help you. Also, if you have any questions on, looking at destinations, looking for resort recommendation, leave me a note. I'll be more than happy to share the information that I have with you. And if I have, if there's anything that I have that I can share, I'm more than happy to share that with you. Until next week, I think I will talk about budget. How do you come up with a budget? What should be in your budget if you're planning a destination wedding? So thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Bye.